Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to do the unboxing of two different products here. So first, we're going to take a look at the Noble Kublai Khan. So this is an IEM or in-ear monitor from the American audio company Noble Audio, which is mainly known for making IEMs or in-ear monitors, and they specialize in that. And they've been doing that for many years. I think even 10 years ago, I've heard about them before. So they're really one of the pioneers in the high-end IEM industry. So I think like Ultimate Ear, Shure, Westone, these guys kind of started it. But then you have companies like JH Audio and Noble and 64 Audio kind of extending that. So yeah, Noble Audio has been in the business for a long time. So we're going to take a look at this. This is actually an upgrade of their previous model, the Khan, which I've actually owned before. And so I was kind of excited to see the Kublai Khan because it was actually on sale from Music Tech. They had an open box version for like 60% off. So normally these retail for like $2,600 US, which is a lot of money, of course. But yeah, got on sale for about $1,000, I would say. About, yeah, 60% off. So yeah, very excited because I do remember with the Khan, the original Khan, I did enjoy the IEM, and my friend enjoyed it as well. At the time, I think I wasn't very into high-end IEMs, so I ended up selling it. But yeah, let's take a look at the Kublai Khan, which should be the upgraded version, and a bit about the tech on behind this one. So this came out in 2022, I believe, originally a few years ago. It's a 6+1 driver configuration, so it uses 6 balanced. Actually, no, not balanced. It's a hybrid of balanced armature, which is a traditional type of driver type for IEMs, with dynamic drivers. So it's got a single updated 10mm dynamic driver for the lows, 2 now's balanced armature for the lows and mids, and 2 now's balanced armature for the mid and highs. And the final driver in that 6 is a ceramic 10mm piezoelectric super tweeter. So it's interesting that Noble chooses to use piezoelectric super tweeter instead of the typical electrostatic super tweeter that a lot of Chinese hi-fi brand uses. So that's pretty interesting. I think Noble is one of the only brands that uses the piezoelectric driver, and they had that for their Khan as well. So this one I think continues with this kind of the same driver configuration as the Khan, might be tuned a bit differently, who knows. And they add another driver here, which is exclusive to the Kublai Khan, which is a subwoofer. So it's a bone conduction driver that covers the low frequency range. So yeah, so they add basically, they take the driver configuration of the original Khan and they add a bone conduction driver for the subwoofer. So should be pretty interesting, and they added that to produce a more tactile bass response, they said. Anyways, packaging looks pretty nice. It actually has a dragon on the front of it, just pretty cool. Kublai Khan, I think if you go back to Chinese history or Mongolian history, you would know that he was pretty much the most famous Mongolian emperor of China. So he took over kind of all of China, and really, if you just going by the history wise, right, he ruled over a vast amount of land in the Yuan dynasty in China, and really is kind of the most celebrated Mongolian emperor of China. So yeah, Kublai Khan is very famous, probably next to Genghis Khan. He's Genghis Khan's grandson. He's probably the most famous Mongolian really in history. So this is the back of the box here, which lists the specs. So it says, descending directly from the lineage of the original Khan. Of course, it's based on the original Khan IEM, which I tried before, and I owned before, and I liked it before. So yeah, kind of excited about the Kublai Khan. It has 4 different types of drivers. In the IEM world, they call this a quad grid. Quad grid means 4 different types of drivers. The previous original Khan has, I think, 3 different types of drivers. So the original Khan was like a tri-grid, and then the Kublai Khan is a quad grid. So it's one 10mm dynamic driver for bass and sub bass, a bone conductor subwoofer, which I'm guessing is only for sub bass, 4 now's BA drivers for mid low and mid highs, and a 10mm piezo super tweeter, which, like I said, is something that I've only seen Noble use. I haven't seen many other IEM manufacturers use this piezo super tweeter. They usually use electrostatic for that, so it's interesting. So improves upon the Khan. I think the big difference is that the Kublai Khan does have that extra bone conductor subwoofer. So it's composite body with unique acetate faceplate, stainless steel nozzle with integrated wax guard, 7 drivers, so that's the 1 dynamic, 1 bone conductor, 1 piezo super tweeter, and then the 4 balanced armatures. Impedance less 35 ohms, hand assembled and matched. Of course, it's sensitive, it's IEM. 8-core cable is what it comes with. Yeah, 8-core cable with industry standard 2-pin configuration, which is 0.78 millimeters. They don't say what kind of material this is, but I'm guessing it's copper, like OCC copper or something like that. So yeah, that's it. And they're based in Texas, and they're also made in Texas. So yeah, it's a made in USA IEM. All right, that's pretty cool. So anyways, let's take a look here. The Kublai Khan, which is really the upgrade of the Khan. So this is a really heavy duty case. I think this was the same case that Noble uses for a lot of their IEMs and the high-end ones, so it's pretty much the same case I got for the Khan as well. So yeah, this is a Nanook 903 case. So Nanook, I think, is actually made in Quebec. Which is pretty interesting. It's very solid case. Like, this is the type of case you would see for power tools, really, not for IEMs, right? It's very solid. So Noble is one of the only IEM companies that give you this kind of heavy duty case for IEMs. So you have like this pressure equalizer thing. Like, this is like really heavy duty. Yeah, this is the type of case, again, you'd be carrying for power tools and stuff like that, not for IEMs. But hey, it's nice that Noble gives us something like so durable, so rugged for just for listening to music. So basically how you unlock it is there's these latches on the side here. You actually have to unlock it like that. So let's do that. You unlock it like this, it lifts up, and yeah, it should be just... I should be able to open like that. Okay, there we go. So in order to open up the Nanook case, we have to undo these latches on the side here, so it's pretty well protected. Again, this is probably overkill for IEMs, right? Like, it is really overkill. I mean, it's nice to have something this durable and rugged, but you really don't actually need something like this. This is like, you know, for something that's really fragile. I know IEMs can be fragile, but this is kind of overkill. I think most brands will just give you like a nice leather case, and that's about it. But still, you know, it's nice of Noble to provide something like this. This is probably something that costs a lot to make anyways. So yeah, it's always nice of Noble to give you something extra like this, even if it's kind of overkill. Anyways, let's undo the latches and open it up. So we're going to undo it, then lift it up like that, and that's how we do it. Yeah, now we can open it up, and now you guys can see the Kublai Khans. Yeah, they look pretty nice. We can take a look from here. Actually, from here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they look really nice. Okay. I remember the original Khans just kind of having like a chrome exterior, I guess. It's kind of like a type of chrome exterior, but these ones, the Kublai Khans, actually have this little dragon motif going on, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, it comes with this cable here. I don't know exact specs of the cable actually, but it comes with this leather case. Yeah, so this is the leather case for it. Yeah, it's just an okay leather case. I mean, that's something that you usually get with high-end IEM brands, right? The case is definitely something very extra, but this Nanook case is definitely pretty extra, but this leather case is something that you normally expect from IEM brands. And then you also get a little carrying pouch as well. So certainly when it comes to accessories, Noble doesn't skimp on that. You get a nice little, like, kind of suede carrying pouch, I want to say. Yeah, nice little suede carrying pouch, and then a nice leather pouch right here. So definitely when it comes to the accessories, yeah, Noble doesn't skimp on it. That's pretty nice. You also get this kind of wristband, I guess, that says Noble on it. Nice. And then you get a bunch of ear tips. This is actually a decent amount, so let's see, you get about, you get about 3 pairs of foam ear tips and another 3 pairs, it looks like, silicone ear tips in here. Yeah, so you get a bunch of foam ear tips and silicone ear tips, a mix of both. I tend to prefer silicone because the foam, it adds a little bit too much bass, I find, and yeah, it kind of messes up the frequency response a lot of times and kind of boosts up the bass too much. So I prefer the silicone. It's a little bit more transparent sounding. But if you like foam, then there's foam ear tips as well. And it also comes with an ear tip cleaner as well. Okay. And then it comes with this, which is signed by the Wizard. I think that's John Moulton is his name, the founder of the company. Yeah, John Moulton, his nickname is the Wizard. He designs all the products. And this one says, this one is actually the warranty card. Yeah. So that's nice. It includes all these extras. And yeah, decent amount of accessories, I'd say. So it does come with its own cable. I'm not sure exactly the specs of this cable, but we'll test it. Okay, so yeah, and this is a 4.4 millimeter connection. So that's what just, yeah, normally high-end IEMs, they all have a 4.4 millimeter connection now. That's pretty standard. And yeah, like I said, the design of the IEMs here is definitely nicer, I think, than the original Khans. This is what it looks like. Yeah, the Kublai Khans. So one has the Noble logo on it, and the other one has the dragon on it. Pretty nice. And the shell itself has like this, yeah, this nice little swirly texture on it, which is pretty nice as well. And then this one has yeah, this one has this extra symbol here, this extra dragon symbol on it. No, they both do. Okay, yeah, they both have this swirly silver dragon symbol on it, and yeah, I do think it looks really, really nice, these IEMs. I think it actually reminds me of the nostalgic Camelot in some ways, but I think this looks even better, even though that one retails for the same price. But yeah, these are really nice looking IEMs, definitely better looking than the Khans. So the Khans, they just have like a chrome shell from my memory. So that was a few years back I had the Khans. They just had this like normal chrome shell to them, which still looked nice, but it had like kind of this mirror finish on it, just had a plain chrome finish. The Kublai Khans with the swirly shell and the dragon and the Noble Audio logo here looks really, really nice. So yeah, I'll definitely, I'm anxious to take a listen to these. And again, the cable here is okay. It's, I mean, there's so many options for aftermarket cables, but these ones look pretty decent. 4.4 millimeter connection here. Yeah, again, I think it's meant to be used with either a USB DAC dongle or a DAP, digital audio player. So that's, I'm going to be using my DAP with it, my Astone Current SP3000M, to test these. So yeah, it's a pretty nice cable. Again, I don't know the exact materials for this one, but looks pretty decent, I would say, just for a stock cable. I mean, obviously, you know, if you care about cable rolling, then you probably want to upgrade them, but yeah, at least it comes with a decent 4.4 millimeter cable with it. I'm not sure if it's copper or silver. It's probably copper, I would say. Yeah, judging by stock cables usually. Yeah, so can't wait to take a listen to these ones. So they do look really nice. At least when it comes to the appearance, they're already a substantial upgrade from the Khans. Yeah, I do like the appearance of the Kublai Khans a lot more. Yeah, the dragon and the Noble Audio logo here makes it look really premium. Yeah, the swirly shell here as well. So definitely really nice looking just from the appearance. And of course the 2-pin connection is standard for Noble Audio IEMs, as it is for, I would say, most IEM brands now have switched from MMCX to 2-pin connections. So stay tuned for my yeah, my listening impressions of this. Alright, so I think for my reference IEMs, I'm using my Unique Melody Mest Jet Blacks right now, or Mest Jet Blacks. These are currently my reference IEMs of choice because they're so neutral and quite detailed, and I would say for around 2,000 bucks US, they retail for about, yeah, 2K with the cables, 1,700-ish without the cables. Yeah, for around this price range, they're pretty much the IEM to beat, in my opinion. So I'm comparing the Kublai Khans with that, and here's my impressions, just kind of A-Bing the same tracks with my DAP. I'm using the SP3000M for both because it's a pretty high-end neutral sounding DAP. So yeah, here's what I noticed. So first of all, if you guys don't know about the Mest Jet Blacks, yeah, these are probably the IEMs to beat in their price range in terms of detail, resolution, sound stages, not the widest, but still decent. But in terms of balance, yeah, these are quite neutral, like nearing flat, I would say. So yeah, very good IEMs to compare against if you're looking for reference IEMs. Compared to them, the Kublai Khans, like retailing for about $600 more, I would say, $600 to $800 more. detail and resolution are roughly similar, I would say. That means the Jet Black, yeah, the Jet Blacks are probably a bit better value. In terms of soundstage, I would say the Kublai Khans have just slightly better soundstage. Not like a huge difference, but I would say the Kublai Khans do have the edge of soundstage. Yeah, and detail and resolution, like I said, about the same. When it comes to bass response, I think both of these have fairly lean bass response. So if you guys are looking for a lot of bass, these guys won't have it. Yeah, the bass on both these guys are fairly lean. So if you're used to like having a lot of bass in your songs, yeah, neither of these are going to do it. Fairly lean bass, I would say. For the mids, I would say the Kublai Khans push a little bit forward there in the upper mids, and that's actually kind of a common tuning, I would say, for high-end IEMs. They want to push up the upper mids for vocals, especially female vocals, to stand out a bit more. So yeah, they usually want to push up the upper mids there, and you can hear that on the Noble Kublai Khans here. The upper mids definitely stand out a little bit more compared to the Jet Blacks. And for the highs is where you kind of have the biggest difference, whereas the Jet Blacks, their highs are just okay. Like I said, they're roughly flat when it comes to the frequencies. Nothing's pushed up or recessed. When it comes to the Kublai Khans, the treble is definitely pushed up and it's noticeable. So definitely you will get a lot of, like if you have something like snares or hi-hats, those kind of things will definitely stand out more on the Kublai Khans. So that makes the sound a bit more dynamic when you're listening to certain tracks with a lot of energy. Modern tracks, pop tracks, EDM, hip-hop, dance, R&B, those things will definitely sound a little bit more energetic because of that extra treble energy on the Kublai Khans. So when it comes to treble, yeah, that's where this one kind of stands out. It's definitely more forward, and yeah, I would say almost this IEM is for treble heads. It's not like exceedingly bright or anything like that, but definitely noticeable where it does have a treble push. Jet Blacks, like I said, fairly neutral reference across the board, so that's definitely noticeable when I switched to the Kublai Khans and I heard that extra treble energy here. Overall, if you guys have even heard the Noble flagship IEM, the Viking Ragnar, then this essentially is almost like a junior version of the Viking Ragnar, because the Viking Ragnar has fairly lean bass and mids and treble, especially that pushed up upper treble, is pretty similar to the Viking Ragnars. So I would say, yeah, the Kublai Khans are fairly similar there. Essentially just a junior version of it. It doesn't have as much resolution, doesn't have the detail, doesn't have the layering or soundstage of the Viking Ragnars, but the tuning is roughly similar. So if you're looking for like that flagship Noble Viking Ragnar tuning, this one has very similar tuning, I would say. Lean bass, a little bit pushed up upper mids, and then the treble energy is extended. So really for treble heads, but it's not really that unbalanced either. I would say overall it works for most tracks. It's just that you will get a little bit more treble energy for most tracks because of that pushed up treble. So yeah, if you guys are looking for Noble Viking Ragnar, but in like junior version, basically this is it, because yeah, it costs quite a bit less. Still expensive, of course, but it costs a bit less, and really will give you a similar kind of tuning. Just it won't have the soundstage, the layering, or the detail of the Viking Ragnars, but you will get a very similar tuning to them. So yeah, that's my my opinion about these. I think they're probably the best for modern tracks. They will sound more energetic. If you're looking for a lot of bass, you won't get that out of these. These are fairly lean in the bass department, and yeah, again, if you compare it to the Jet Blacks here, the Jet Blacks are fairly neutral sounding IEMs and are good for pretty much all genres because it doesn't really push anything up at all, nor is anything really that recessed either. But if you're looking for more treble energy, you can definitely check out the Kublai Khans. But I would say both of these lean towards the neutral category. The Jet Blacks just being more neutral because it doesn't have that pushed up treble. But I would say the Kublai Khans are more like, they're more like neutral with pushed up treble. That's really about it. Yeah. So this is basically neutral with pushed up treble energy, and these are just neutral. So yeah, it really depends what you're looking for. Detail and soundstage, I would say soundstage might be a little bit better on the Kublai Khans, but detail's roughly about the same. Resolution's roughly about the same. And yeah, that's really it. Compared to the cons, if I can remember the cons I tried like a few years back, definitely I think the detail and soundstage are better on the Kublai Khans. Tuning, I don't remember the treble energy being that forward on the cons. It could have been, but I don't remember it being as forward on the cons. But definitely, I think when it comes to detail and soundstage, I think the Kublai Khan's are slightly better there. And it does have that extra bone conduction driver. So if you're talking about sub bass, this probably has better sub bass response. I don't remember the Khan having much bass either, to be honest. So they're both fairly lean in the bass category, although this does have the extra subwoofer. So, anyways, yeah. I would say that if you're looking for a lot of bass, this ain't it. But if you're looking for a lot of treble, this might be for treble heads. So, yeah, the Noble Audio Kublai Khan. Again, don't get me wrong. I think this is still good enough for most genres. It's still reasonably well balanced, and it's leaning towards the neutral side, just with that extra treble energy. So, yeah, it's not exactly as neutral as the Jet Blacks. Something like this is very referenced and balanced all around. But if you're looking for something with, yeah, leaning neutral but with more treble energy, definitely check out the Kublai Khans. So, and they look right, yeah, they look really good. To be honest, I think they look better than the Viking Ragnars do. I mean, I tried out the Viking Ragnars before. I actually like the appearance of the Kublai Khans better. And I haven't tried the Sultans either, or the Kronos, or the Chronicle, or the Shogun. You know, there's definitely higher end Noble IEMs I haven't tried yet. But yeah, at least when it comes to the, let's see, roughly 2K, 3K category, then yeah, these definitely look pretty good, in my opinion. So one other thing to take into consideration, I kept saying how the Mest Jet Blacks are, relatively speaking, the better deal because they are cheaper for roughly similar performance level. Like, sure, the cons do have slightly more soundstage width, but I think roughly speaking, they're around the same performance level or similar performance level, and the Mest Jet Blacks are about $600 to $800 cheaper. So yes, it is, relatively speaking, probably the better value. However, have to take into consideration the extras that Noble does give you as well. So Noble gives you this nice hard shell, durable, tough and rugged Nanu case, which is something that most IEM companies do not give you. So that's something extra that Noble Audio does give you, in addition to the leather case that that you normally get. So yeah, that's definitely part of the extra cost. In addition to that, Noble Audio IEMs are made in the US, they're made in Texas, whereas, yeah, the Mest is definitely, I think, made in China because they're a Chinese company, and they use 3D printed shells. So the Noble Audios, the shells look really nice. Honestly, they do look better than the Mest Jet Black shells, and yeah, I mean, just look at them, right? They look actually kind of handcrafted. So if that's true, they're actually handmade in the US compared to yeah, compared to the Jet Blacks, which are like 3D printed shells made in China. You have to take that into consideration as well. So that might be part of the extra cost. So on a pure performance level, you could say that yes, the Jet Blacks are relatively a better deal. However, taking some other factors into consideration, you know, the fact that the Kublai Khans do look nicer, the shells, they look more handmade, they don't look 3D printed to me, and yeah, like the extra case and the accessories that Noble gives you as well. You have to take that all into consideration, and that's probably why the Noble Kublai Khans do cost more. So I'm not saying they're extremely overcosted or anything like that. Like, to be honest, I think the Visioneers V10 I reviewed like a month ago, that was pretty overcosted. But the Kublai Khans, yeah, if you take all those extras and yeah, all those into consideration, right? The fact that they're made in US and high quality shells and everything, and the gives you a high quality case, then it could be worth, you know, $600, $800 more. Who knows? The performance level, yeah, it is slightly better than the Jet Blacks, but they're pretty close. Anyways, I just want to give that little tidbit out. Not saying that the Jet Blacks, oh, everyone should just go and buy those. It really depends on your preference. Of course, the Kublai Khans has a better, well, it has a more exciting sound signature, I would say, in comparison, especially for the highs, and slightly more soundstage width, and similar amount of detail, but they also give you, you know, some extras and stuff in the case. So that's something else to take into consideration too. So even though the Kublai Khans do have pushed up forward treble and a lot of treble energy, they're not that harsh or sibilant actually, and they're not very fatiguing either. So like some people might be thinking that, oh, it has so much treble energy, it might be harsh or fatiguing. No, it's not. It's actually done pretty well, to the point where Yeah, I would say that it sounds bright without being harsh or fatiguing. It's kind of like the 64 audio trios or the TF Fortes, because yeah, in that sense, they're both treble forward IEMs, but yeah, they're not that harsh or fatiguing. So they managed to tune it in such a way that it is treble forward without making it sound too harsh and without sounding it too shrill. Yeah, I haven't heard any sibilants either. So I think Noble's done a good job of this. Like Viking Ragnar is like this as well. It's got high treble energy without sounding too harsh or fatiguing. Same thing with 64 audios, trios, and fortes. So yeah, somehow they managed to have this technology where it does feel treble forward, but it's also not harsh or fatiguing or sibilant at the same time. So don't worry too much about that. Don't get me wrong, these are bright IEMs, but I think it's yeah, it's done pretty well. You know, it's not overly too bright for me. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the Noble Kublai Khan. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay, so next up we have a cable unboxing here, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about them. These are the Vortex Nadia or Nadia cables. So these are from a Hong Kong company that was established relatively recently, I think in 2018, that makes IEM cables. So these ones retail for about $850 US, which is yeah, it's expensive, of course, for a cable, but when it comes to IEM cables these days, I mean, you can go into the thousands of dollars, which is just crazy, I know. And again, when it comes to cables, that's a very controversial topic. You know, a lot of people say the cables are all snake oil, you don't hear a difference between cables and stuff. It's all in your head. For me, I think this is just my personal opinion, you know, whether it be placebo or it's all in my head or whatever, the fact of the matter is that I think that depending on the IEM, and different IEMs can have different cable sensitivities. When I switch the cable, I do hear a difference. And this difference can depend on the cable, it can depend on the IEM, but I'm not going to say the difference is zero, at least not to me. So yeah, if you guys don't believe in cables, then go ahead and skip this part of the video, but yeah, or you can skip this video entirely, but I think that for me anyways, I do hear a difference. So this, yeah. If someone wants to tell me that's all in my head, fine. And I paid for making a psychological difference, I guess. Which is basically, to me, if it's just about the results, then yeah, if it makes a difference, then that's all that matters, right? Okay, that's my opinion. So I got these for 20% off. Still got paid like $650 for them, still a lot. So let's just take a look though. I'm gonna use them to compare to the stock Noble cables on the Kublai Khans. So these are the IEMs I'm gonna test them on. Of course, I just did a review of them. Yeah, this is the Kublai Khans, and they come with these stock Noble cables, right? Which look okay, but of course, let's see if it improves, if we can upgrade it with the Vortex. So let's take a look here. This is what the box is like. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, looks pretty fancy. Embracing music since 2018. So yeah, Vortex. So yeah, these are the Nadias. And it comes with the Con X basic connector, which is actually Effect Audio, which is the Singapore company also making IEM cables. They came up with this Con X technology, which lets you swap out the different types of connectors for different types of headphones and IEMs. So that's pretty cool. And I think that Vortex actually worked with Effect Audio to get the same technology. So that's cool. Basically, they're using Effect Audio's Connex connectors here. I'd probably paid Effect Audio something to use that. But yeah, it's interesting, right? Because they're like competitors, essentially, but yet they're using their competitors' technology. 4.4 millimeter connection, which is pretty standard for high-end IEMs these days. Yeah, I don't know anyone using 2.5 anymore. But yeah, this is the technology behind the cable here. So golden ratio and multi-strands with shielded twins, pair 20.6 AWG, and the cable material, which is really a lot of the differentiating factor of these cables come from the material, right? So you got gold silver alloy, gold plated 4N OCC silver, plus gold plated 7N OCC copper, plus 4N OCC silver, plus 7N OCC copper, plus silver plated 5N LC OFC copper. If that means anything to you guys. N that basically means the number of nines. So 4N OCC silver means like 99.99% silver. 7 gold plated 7N OCC copper means 99.99999 copper, percentage copper. I mean, it's just extremely high purity. So anyways, when people buy these kind of cables and spend a lot of money on them, a lot of them is based on the materials. So yep, those are the materials there. It's like just a combination of all different gold and silver, copper stuff. Okay, so this is a nice little presentation here. It says Vortex here. It's like, this is leather. It's pretty nice. So there's that. Just a little cover there. And here we go. This actually looks like an IEM case, even though it's just for cables. So yeah, and this is the cable right here, and the Connex connectors. So let's take a look actually. This looks like a similar case you would normally get for high-end IEMs. But they give us this for cables, which, to be fair, these are not cheap cables, so it makes sense why they give us something like this. But yeah, it's a nice little. Is this real leather? Seems like it could be real leather, but yeah, it gives us a nice leather case here for the cables. Yeah, so yeah, I guess you would just put your cables in this case like that. So it's pretty nice. Okay, this is Effect Audio Connex, so I'll show you guys a bit more about this. So in my Effect Audio Chiron unboxing, you guys can see this as well. So Effect Audio, like I said, Singapore IEM cable company, and they're the ones that have come up with this technology. So yeah, you have different types of connectors that you can swap out. So depending on the type of headphone or the type of IEM that you have, then yeah, arguably you can just swap them in like this. So it makes it very easy instead of just having to buy an entirely new cable and having to get different connectors on them when you change headphones or IEMs, right? You can just use the Connex system, which is really nice. I think for the majority of IEM users, they'll be using 2-pin connections anyways, like 0.78 millimeters, right? Okay, so this is Vortex warranty card. It's got a serial number on it. Yeah, this is the warranty card. So yeah, it's nicely done, warranty card there. Okay. Okay, and this is the cable itself. So yeah, the Nadia or Nadia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly. They said it's inspired by the Japanese anime series. So yep. So okay, take a look here. I do like the colors. Yeah. How much AWG is this? Just gonna check. It is 20.6 AWG, so it's a good thickness. Yeah, 4.4 millimeter connection here. Yep, well, this is a nicely looking connector. I mean, I know it's just a connector, but in a world of so many cables and stuff like that, this does kind of stand out, right? This little design here on the connector. And same thing when it comes to the Y splitter. I think the Y splitter is pretty nice looking too. Yeah, this is the Y splitter here. And yeah, so this, yeah, basically when you use your headphones, yeah, this will be the part that goes up and down. Yeah, so that's pretty nice looking Y splitter. It just has that Vortex logo there. Yeah, I think a bit nicer looking than my Astro Acoustics Pulse. And then these are the 2-pin connectors here. Oh, yeah, they'll tell you what's left and what's right. That's good. Not all cables tell you that, to be honest. Yeah, left to right. Yeah, so if we can zoom in more. Yep, here we go. So these are, it just says the Vortex logo here. Yep, okay, cool. So yeah, I will be testing these and A-Bing these cables versus the stock cables on my Noble Kublai Khans, and yeah, I'll tell you guys my thoughts on them and the differences. So yeah, the stock cable and the Kublai Khans versus the Vortex Nadia, and yeah, I'll tell you guys the differences, so stay tuned. So yeah, I'll be testing these against the stock cables of my Noble Kublai Khans. Yeah, so these are stock cables. and which I'm guessing is copper. I actually didn't know the exact specs of the stock cable. I'll also be testing them against the Astro Acoustics Pulse cable that I got, which is definitely copper, as you guys can see. Yeah, these ones cost about 500, I would say, MSRP, and we'll compare them because I guess they're around the similar price range. This one's a few $100 more, but yeah, we'll compare those. And yeah, tell you guys what I think about them. So yeah, this is the Astro Acoustics, which I'm used to because I've owned these cables for a while now, and I'm pretty familiar with the sound signature. So we'll compare the new Vortex Nadia with the Astro Acoustics Pulse, and also I guess the stock cables of the Kublai Khan. Yeah, I know they're just cables, and you guys might think it's just a bunch of yeah, a bunch of baloney or hogwash that there's differences. But anyways, regardless, I'll give you guys my subjective impressions if you guys are interested anyways. Again, it's a very highly personal thing whether or not you'll hear a difference, but at least I'll give you guys my personal opinion about them. So yeah, this is going to be the new Vortex Nadia, and this has a bunch of different alloys in it, I think. Not just copper, but has like gold-plated copper or silver-plated copper in it. And then the Astro Acoustics Pulse is just all copper. Yeah, and very copper colored. And then this one, which I'm assuming is also copper as well. The stock cable of the Noble Kublai Khans. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to compare all three of these cables, tell you guys, yeah, the differences. So stay tuned. Okay, so after testing all these cables, again, against the same songs, I think I have a verdict here. So the Noble Audio cable, the stock one that comes with the Kublai Khans, again, it's a pretty good cable. I mean, you're talking about high-end IEMs. I don't think they're going to throw a bad cable in there or a cheap cable in there. Like, this is pretty good. Of course, you're going to hear the IEM the way I guess the manufacturer intended, because they bundled this cable with it, right? So it's, yeah, this is just my baseline, you know. Again, cables are not going to make too much of a difference, right? You're not talking about swapping IEMs or anything. Just, yeah, that's the thing. It's like when you're buying like cables, even expensive cables, don't expect to have like too much expectation going in, because it's not going to be like a world of difference or anything. In my opinion, they can help adjust the frequency somewhat, like they might raise or lower the treble response or bass response or whatever, depending on the type of material, but they're never going to adversely like completely change the sound of your IEM. That's never going to happen. I don't think, at least. They might expand the soundstage a little and stuff, but really don't expect anything too different. So I'm using this as a baseline, and yeah, I mean, I can't say, like, I don't have a crappy cable to test with, so I can't say how much this cable improves upon, you know, a basic cable, but I'm just going to say this is my baseline here. And of course, it's a pretty decent cable. I mean, it has to be, right? Just, it comes bundled with a fairly, you know, like a $2,600 IEM, right? It's got to be, like, pretty decent. So this is my baseline. So comparing it against that, first of all, I'll give you my opinion on the Astro Acoustics Pulse here. So this one, first of all, Astro Acoustics, which is a Hong Kong IEM company, this is kind of their mid-range cable, I guess. They don't label their left and right connectors, so that's the thing. Like, come on. At least even Noble does, because Noble, you can kind of see they have blue and red here. Usually red is for right and blue is for left. This is something that comes from the speaker industry. But Astral doesn't label them at all, so I have no idea which one's left, which one's right. I kind of just have to look at the hooks in the way that they're shaped. So just kind of a constructive criticism for Astral. Like, come on, label your like connectors, man. Still takes me a while to find out which one's left and right. So do label them, please, like the Vortex does. That would be nice. But yeah, this being like a pure copper cable, the Astro Acoustics Pulse, what I noticed is that I think this might be just typical of what people think about copper cables, right? But it boosts the bass response a bit, warms up the sound signature a bit, and tames down the highs a bit. So because the Noble Khans are kind of like, or Kublai Khans, they're kind of a treble, I would say. These are more leans towards treble forward, I would say. Yeah, so these IEMs are the ones I'm testing, and the Kublai Khan leans treble forward. So because of that, I think the Astroacoustics Pulse is a good pairing for them because it tames the treble down a bit. Some people might find it a bit too treble forward, so it's not overly bright or anything, but again, it is kind of yeah, like it does boost the treble a bit. So that's why I think a copper cable like this might tame down the highs a bit, boost up the bass a bit, which I do think the Kublai Khan's are a little bit too lean in the bass. So I do think this is a very good cable for just in terms of what it does to the sound signature for the Kublai Khans. Now, again, each cable is going to match differently, right? If you believe in that, I think that each cable is going to match each IEM differently. So I think the Astroacoustics Pulse is a good match for the Kublai Khans because the Kublai Khans being kind of a treble forward IEM, this one will tame the highs a bit and bring up the bass a bit, which I do think that the Kublai Khans kind of lack. So I think this is a good cable match for it. And in addition to that, you get better separation of the frequencies, which is something I notice when it comes to cable upgrades. Again, this is something you only can notice, for me, if I A/B test them back and forth, right? Not something that you normally would notice, but hey, this is the minute differences that most people probably don't believe in. It's the same thing for DACs, right? How do I notice a difference between different DAC chips? Well, I gotta A/B test them. I gotta like go back and forth, really analytically listen to them, right? If you don't do that, then it's just going to sound very, very similar, right? If you don't do that. So I'm talking about very marginal differences, obviously, but yeah, just A/B testing them, that's what I noticed. Yeah, the Astroacoustics Pulse will make the bass, will boost it up, and make the sound signature a little bit warmer, tame the highs down a bit. And I do think it's a really good fit for the Kublai Khans because it does make it sound a bit more balanced than being treble forward, which is what they are out of the box. With the stock cable, yeah, they're definitely treble forward and a bit too lean in the bass, in my opinion. So to give the bass a little bit more body and to tame down the highs just a bit, I think the Astroacoustics, or really any pure copper cable, I think will be able to be a good fit for that. So this is a good fit. Then let's compare to the Vortex Nadia. First of all, yes, props to Vortex for actually labeling left and right, something I wish the Astro did. Yeah, labeling, that's great, like I mentioned. But yeah, let's talk about this one. I've heard in many reviews that the Vortex punches above its price point, which I think is kind of funny because you're talking cables, right? Like this is, when you're paying like hundreds of dollars for cables, I cannot say that any of them are going to punch above the price point because it's very overpriced to begin with. But I would say, relatively speaking, yes, this performs like a $2,000 effect audio cable. It's like compared to my like $2,000 effect audio Chirons, for example. That's a video I did a couple weeks ago. I think these are pretty much on par with that, even though these are only $800. So still expensive, but still I think it does perform on the same level of, say, like a $2,000 IEM cable, which is, I know it's ridiculous, but yeah, these days the cable prices get really crazy. Yeah, what I noticed with this one is that, first of all, compared to the Astroacoustics Pulse, this is not really a pure copper cable. It's like a mix of different alloys, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's like a mix of silver and gold-plated copper. Yeah, it's like a mix of different things. So it leans more towards like a neutral side. So it doesn't really go too warm or too bright or anything. It's fairly neutral, just like the Effect Audio Chiron was. And yeah, I would say the biggest difference I noticed with this one is that soundstage is a little bit more expanded, frequencies are more tightened up. And to my surprise, I actually think that it sounds a bit more detailed. Now, usually I don't think that cables would make such a big difference when it comes to detail, but it seems to me like there is a slight difference in detail here. Like it's a little bit more resolving when I swap it out for the Nadias. So I don't know, again, maybe it's placebo, maybe it's all in my head, I don't know, but I wasn't even expecting that. Like, because for me, when I'm testing cables, I'm like, they can't really change the detail, right? Like soundstage might be changed a bit, and frequency response, you know, they might tame the highs or up the highs, might be brighter or warmer, but I never really noticed any big difference in like detail change. That's the same thing in like even the $2,000 Effect Audio Chiron, I didn't really feel like that. But the Vortex Nadias, I mean, I actually think I feel a bit of a detail enhancement here, which is kind of crazy. So anyways, take that with a grain of salt. Maybe that's just, again, it's all in my head or something, but yeah, to me, this expands the soundstage just a little bit. The width of the soundstage expands just a little bit. The background is a little bit blacker, and frequency is a little bit more tightened up. And yeah, even the detail I can sense just a little bit more resolving. But that's just me, you know. I'm giving you guys my subjective listening impressions. You might be just saying that's all hogwash. You know, this is all scams, but that's just my impression. I'm giving you guys my subjective opinion, okay? Comparing all these back and forth. So yeah, that's it. That's my impressions of all these cables. I think that obviously the stock cable is still good. You know, I'm not gonna say like a stock cable from this level of IEM. A high-end IEM should come with pretty good stock cables, but if you're gonna upgrade, yeah, the Astro Acoustics Pulse I think is a very good fit for this kind of cable. I mean, this kind of IEM, right? When you have IEMs that are kind of like treble forward like this, then copper cables are pretty good. Now the opposite happens when your IEM is kind of bass forward. So if your IEM is bass heavy, then I would suggest silver cables to kind of brighten it up a bit, kind of tame the bass downs a bit and raises up the highs a bit. But in this case, these ones are kind of treble forward. So then in that case, yeah, the Astro Acoustics Pulse being a pure copper cable is a better fit for it. Vortex Nadia, tonal wise, is not as good of a fit as the Astro Acoustics, because these ones is a bit more neutral sounding. So these ones, again, I hear you're just going to get a treble forward again. It's not going to tame down the highs like the copper cables will, nor is it going to boost the bass like the copper cables will. But what you do get with this is expanded soundstage, blacker background, frequencies are more tightened up. So like you'll hear the bass be a bit more controlled, the highs be more controlled, doesn't bleed into the mids as much, and surprisingly even a little bit more detail. So that's what I found with the Nadias. Overall, it's a great cable, I think, for the price. If you want to, say, relatively speaking, I know it's still expensive, but I mean, if you're going to pay like, people are paying like $2,000, $3,000 for IM cables these days, right? It's crazy. So compared to those PW Audio, Effect Audio, Beat Audio ones that are insanely expensive, Breeze Audio, you know, those insanely expensive cable companies, yeah, I think the Vortex is a relatively better value, because I think this is pretty much on par with, in terms of yeah, soundstage and enhancing the sound of the IEM, pretty much on par with the Effect Audio Surrounds, which are like $2,000. So yeah, for a relatively better price, I would think, of 800. Yeah, it's less than half the price of the Surrounds. Yeah, and of course, tonality wise, with this set of IEMs, I think the Astro Acoustics Pulse is what I would go with, because it just pairs better as a pure copper cable. But if you're talking overall enhancement, then yeah, the Vortex Nadia is the way to go. Of course, it's not just saying that because it's the most expensive, but because I actually do hear this one sounding slightly better, you know. Or we're talking marginal differences, again, only when I'm A/B testing I hear the differences. Normally, no, probably not. You're not going to notice it, right? Just on your daily commute, on the way to work. This is something that audiophiles would care about that normal people would not care about at all, right? Normal people are just satisfied with some AirPods in their ear and they're good, right? They're not going to care about some tiny 10% difference in bass or highs or soundstage or width or whatever. But for audiophiles, this kind of being a hobby that people care about the details, yeah, and minor differences, they're willing to pay money for minor differences, then yeah, like the Nadia will give you the best enhancement. Soundstage width, blacker background, separation of frequencies, a little bit more detail. Yeah, and then for this particular set of IEMs, then I think the Astro Acoustics Pulse is the best fit for them. But really, you know, if you're talking about overall enhancement, then Nadia is the way to go. So yeah, that's my conclusion about these cables. I think that Vortex, I think why I tried them out in the first place is because people said they are, like, relatively speaking, in the IM cable world, bang for the buck. I know it's kind of crazy because considering how much they costed, but yeah, relatively speaking, if you were to compare them with like a $2,000 Effect Audio or PW Audio cable, I think this is right up there with those. So if you want to call them all overpriced, sure, but I'm just going to say that Vortex is, relatively speaking, not as overcosted as some other ones out there. That's all I can say. Not to say that this isn't overpriced, because all these upgrade cables are, but they're less overpriced compared to some of the other ones out there. Like, relatively, they're probably better value. This will give you the sound of like a $2,000 cable, basically. Yeah, so I'm pretty impressed with Vortex Nadia, actually. I think that, yeah, and plus the presentation of the cables in the box and everything was pretty good as well. So that's, actually, it's a lot more than what Effect Audio gave me. The Effect Audio Chirons, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago, didn't give me that much in the box, and that was a more expensive cable. So yeah, I think this competes very well with the big players in the IM cable industry now. So yeah, if you guys are looking for, you know, I mean, if you guys have money, first of all, to spend on upgrade cables, don't do that until you find the IM you like, by the way. So I recommend just finding the IMs that you like first, and then tuning them afterwards to with cables to kind of extend their performance even more. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like when it comes to buying speakers, right? Like, there's just, yeah, like priorities, you know. Speaker comes first, and then amplifier and DAC and everything comes after. Yeah, IMs obviously come first, and then cables after, right? It's like once you found your IM, well, actually, technically, your source, right? Your source should come right after that, because that's very important. In my case, I have fairly expensive $2,000 DAP here, right? The Aston Current SP3000M. Your source comes after that, and then cables will come after all that. It's basically just to further fine-tune the sound of your IM that you already like. So yeah, when it comes to that, then I think the Vortex Nadia is very good. This is I think the most expensive Vortex cable currently. So all of their cables actually are under 1K, which is, yeah, they're not like going for the super expensive ones. But I do think they actually do punch above their price. Like, they compete very well with 2K Effect Audio and PW Audio cables and Breeze Audio, you know. So yeah, all those other ones, Beat Audio, whatever you want to have, those are more expensive ones. I think competes very well with them. So anyways, yeah, I have to give my opinion on the Vortex Nadia. This is probably going to be my go-to IM cable going forward. And I'm not saying this lightly, because I do have Effect Audio Chirons, which I think are pretty good, but I think these actually, yeah, can even match or exceed those. And it actually looks better, to be honest. Like, I like the appearance of the Vortex better as well. And appearance is actually a factor to consider as well, right? Considering that's what people are going to see when you use your IEM, is the cables as well. So yeah, the appearance does play a factor, and I think the Vortex looks great. So anyways, it's my opinion, guys. Again, you guys might think, oh, cables are just cables, they don't make any difference. But to me, I'm just giving you guys my subjective impressions. Again, I think there is a difference. It's marginal, but there is. It's not zero, just in my opinion. So yeah, I like the Vortex Nadia. So I think that this up-and-coming company has been around since 2018, and I like their packaging a lot. And so far, I think that their cables have been, well, this is my first experience at a Vortex audio cable, but I would say I'm pretty satisfied with it. I'm not going to say I'm super impressed or anything, because it is fairly expensive still, but again, I'm satisfied with it. That's what I'm going to say. I wasn't disappointed, you know. Like with the Effect Audio Chirons, I guess I was a bit disappointed because I was expecting better for the price. But with this, yeah, I'm satisfied. And that's actually the best I can say about cables, is that I'm never going to say they're a great deal, but certainly this one did make me satisfied. I think that it performs really well. So yeah, and I really like the appearance of it as well, and the packaging and the presentation. That's all part of the experience, you know. So like, yeah, if you guys are looking for a cable around this price range, if you're willing to spend this much for cables and you're looking for around this price range, then the Vortex Nadia is a good one to pick up, in my opinion. Just make sure that you're looking for something, you know, that to fine-tune your IEMs better, right? If you're looking for something to tame the treble, get a copper cable. If you're looking for something to tame the bass, get a silver cable. You know, this is relatively neutral. It won't affect your sound signature that much. Just keep that in mind. But if you have a sound signature you already like from your IEM, you just want to expand the sound quality further by adding the blacker background and, you know, more soundstage width and slightly better detail, then this is the way to do it. Yeah, just add a kind of neutral sounding cable like the Nadias. I think it's pretty good for that. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, but I think this is a pretty good upgrade for those of you guys who have an IEM with a sound signature that you already like, but you just want to expand the performance further. It's just with a cable like this that doesn't really change the tonality, but adds better technicalities, like slightly more detailed soundstage width and blacker background. So these are the Effect Audio Chirons that I was talking about. So yeah, you know, this is a $2,000 US cable. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really look like that, right? I mean, just look at it. I mean, it's honestly like when I tested the Chirons, of course they're still great cable and everything. You know, I felt like I got more soundstage width out of it, and again, cleaner separation between the frequencies. But to be honest, yeah, for that amount of money, I was kind of disappointed. Whereas when it comes to the Vortex Nadias, yeah, I know it's still expensive, but first of all, these look better. Just look at it, right? Which one looks more flashy? The Vortex, right? So first of all, it looks more flashy and looks better in my opinion. And secondly, not only did I feel like the same amount of of expansion of the soundstage and blacker background and separation of frequencies as a Chiron, but I also found slightly more detail, slightly better detail retrieval out of the Vortex as well. So yeah, like, just my opinion, no subjective listening. So yeah, this one's cheaper. It's less than half the price. So I'm just saying, guys, testing between these two, I found the Vortex Nadia to be the better deal out of these two. Both of them are like leaning neutral. They don't really change the frequencies that much. They only increase the technicals out of it. But yeah, out of these two, I would say the Vortex Nadia is probably the one that gives you better bang for the buck, relatively speaking. Also, not to mention the fact that the Vortex cables, they look a lot more sturdier, right? They're thicker cables, and yeah, compared to the more expensive Effect Audio cables, they definitely look a bit more durable as well. I've also read online that it performs roughly at least as good or outperforms the Liquid Lynx Venom, the Elitech Euclid, and the Astro Eclipse. So these are all fairly well reviewed cables around the 1K price point, and apparently, yeah, the Nadia outperforms or at least exceeds or meets the performance of some of those. And yeah, again, this is all my opinion, just subjective listening. I know everyone has different ears, but just giving you guys my own personal subjective listening experiences. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I actually had the chance to demo both the higher end Sultan and the flagship Viking Ragnar, so I can do a comparison with the Kublai Khans here. So basically these are all fairly similar tonality wise. They all kind of have lean bass and they have pushed up treble. So I think Noble tends to go with this kind of sound for most of their IEMs, it seems. Sultan is like a little bit more expensive, not by much, a couple $100. I would say the biggest difference with Sultan is that Sultan has like a little bit more bass, I think, just like a tiny bit more. So it's not like, still not bass heavy or anything like that. Treble's still fairly hot, but has slightly more soundstage as well. So it's like a very slight upgrade over the Kublai Khans, but fairly similar. Like if you have the Kublai Khans, there's really not too much reason to upgrade to Sultan because it's just like a touch better, which makes sense given the the price difference isn't that much. The Viking Ragnar, which looks fairly similar to the Sultan, by the way, that one's a more substantial upgrade as you would expect, given that it's a flagship. But tonality-wise, is quite similar. Just yeah, you're still gonna have the lean bass and the hot treble. It's just that it's gonna have noticeably more detail, noticeably more soundstage and layering. So yeah, Viking Ragnar is a bigger difference, of course. But yeah, tonality wise, all three of these are the same, pretty much. If you're looking for something drastically different sounding, you're not going to find it with these upgrades. These are pretty much going to be similar to Kublai Khan's with the lean bass and the pushed up treble. Just the difference is really just with higher detail and larger soundstage as you move up. So that's my experiences compared to these two.
They're nice. Just too bad they don't have their own ear tips that actually fit properly. So I'm using mine, but then mine doesn't fit these properly, so they're always stuck in my ear when I take these out.
Yeah.
But they're nice. Now let me go back to mine and compare.
Yep. They're fairly lean with more treble energy, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's very well balanced though overall. Um, Overall, very well balanced.
Yep. If you compare it to the Mest, though, I think the main thing is the Kublai's have a bit more treble and a little bit more soundstage too.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the thing about the tips is it's usually like small, medium, and large. So, I think you have you need like extra large or something, which most of these items don't come with.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because every single time I buy some type of IEM or anything, I always seem to have a tip that actually fits me. Even the Sennheisers recently, the wireless. So it's really strange.
Yeah, the thing is, like even the higher end ones, I don't see them have these extra large anymore. So
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I have some other tips too, but I need to find them again from back when I had those monster. But yeah, the Novos compared to my FLC8, the Novos sound a little bit more. I would say the FLC8 actually hangs pretty close, honestly, to the Novos.
Okay.
Really quite close. I think for any regular person, you just have to adjust the volume a bit because these are balance cables, so there's more power.
Right.
And then so I had to like crank up the volume here by about 7 decibels. Yeah, and then when they're balanced, they're pretty close actually. I think any regular person after volume balancing, they might not be able to tell a difference, but there is a difference. The Novo sounds a little bit more full compared to my FLC8S. There's a little bit more foam all across the board, and the bass has a bit more shape in the FLC in the Novos. There's a bit more bass shape in there.
You didn't think these are treble forward? They're a little bit treble forward for me.
Actually, mine is a bit more treble. So mine is even more.
So yours is even more treble forward than the.
Mine's even a little bit more treble.
Okay.
Yeah. When you listen to the drums, mine I can hear the metal clanging a bit more. So mine's even a little bit more treble forward than this one. This one's a little bit more full sounding than mine actually. And this one has a bit more rounded bass, so a bit more shape in the bass. I actually like the shape in the bass for the Novos.
Okay. I find this bass a bit lean for me.
It's lean, but it's got the shape.
Okay.
Yeah, it's lean, but it's defined. It's defined.
Yep.
Mine is
like it's good bass, it's just not pushed up.
Yeah, exactly. Like mine is not as defined, the bass.
Yeah.
And mine's more dispersed, the bass. It's like this all-enveloping thing. Mine, but it's not as defined. This one is a bit more defined. I kind of like that. And then but then my drums, you can hear like the treble a little bit more.
Okay.
My mids are a little bit more high pitched than these mids. These are a bit more rounded mids.
Okay.
So I like these. They're really good. I mean, if I see there's something like this for like $1,000 or so,
I mean, you like the cons as well, so it's chances are you like the Kublai Khans as well,
right? Like, it's not like a massive upgrade from mine, my FLC8S, but if I see something for like $1,000, I might just get it. Yeah, I'll see.
I mean, it's basically all diminishing returns as you go up.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Big time diminishing returns actually, because mine's actually pretty close to end game already FLC8S, which is amazing for the price.
Yeah.
These two are pretty much the same tier.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Yeah, this one has more soundstage.
Yep.
Yes, this one the treble is a bit more than this one. So, because remember last time when I compared my FLC to this one, I already mentioned that mine has more soundstage. This one, the soundstage is intimate, but everything's a little bit shrunk together. This one, just a touch. Still okay, but it's all shrunk together. This one has more soundstage. This one and that one, the soundstage is about the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So these two, my FLC8S and these two, same soundstage. Mine has a touch more treble forward and a touch more upper mids compared to this one. But this one, the bass has more shape and definition in the bass. Yeah. And then this one sounds a little bit more fuller. This sounds a bit more fuller than that one. This one has a bit more treble than that one. Soundstage about the same. This one, the bass has a bit more. This one is somewhere like. This one is just a little bit less soundstage, a touch less treble than both of these, but overall still pretty balanced. If I had to pick, let me try this one more time. I think I would like the Novos more personally.
They're pretty similar in terms of detail. I think soundstage is just the Kublai's have a bit more, and like I said, it's a little bit more treble forward. The bass is pretty much they're lean on both, so the bass is pretty much similar.
Yeah. I think the shape of the bass is more defined in the Novos. And partly also because it got more soundstage, so it's a bit more separated from the rest of the stuff. I think I like the Novos maybe a bit more, but I'll see.
If the Nobles have any advantages, that's because the soundstage is larger. advantage it has over the Jet Blacks.
And the thing is, this is not really treble forward at all. This treble is actually just right, honestly. Because yeah, because my FOCS has a little bit.
For me though, I prefer it a little bit less treble actually. I think this is a little bit too forward for me.
So these are the Kublai Khan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are they ever going to release a Genghis Khan?
I don't know. They have higher tiers. So actually, if you look at the flagship, the Viking Ragnar, the Viking Ragnar is essentially the Kublai Khan's tuning, but with more detail and more layering and more soundstage.
Which one?
So their flagship is Viking Ragnar, which is like 4K. And that one is essentially the same sound signature. So you have the lean bass. And I tried it because that Brian guy brought it, right? So you got similar tuning and it's got the similar treble forward, but it's got even more soundstage, even more layering and more detail. So if you like these, you'll probably also like the Viking Ragnars, basically.
So the Nordics are more powerful than the Mongols?
Yeah, according to Noble. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Viking Ragnar is more powerful. Ragnar is more powerful than Kublai.
Does not make sense. The Mongols will wipe the floor with the Vikings.
No, Ragnar is more powerful than Kublai Khan.
Yeah. The Mongols will destroy the Vikings. It won't even be a fair fight. There's literally no way logically they can even win. These it depends on the ear tips a lot too. It makes a big difference from the ear tips. Actually, this sounds a little bit different compared to when I use my ear tips. And put it back on here.
Okay.
So these I find if you can wear like a slightly bigger ear tips with these, it fills out the bass a bit better. So with my ear tips, the bass here is actually a bit more fuller. But then now with these ones that you found for me, that this seems to still fit okay. Yeah. But then the bass got leaner. Okay. Yeah, because these ear tips are still a little bit smaller than mine, I think. Okay. By a little bit.
Yeah, could be why I found the bass very pretty lean.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're using pretty small ear tips. So then if you actually have bigger ear tips when you listen, I think the bass will be a little bit bigger. So that's one thing to look into. But I see the potential, especially if I can find like the right size ear tip. And then like say if I try this one more time for the same track. And then what was the best one for that? What was the better one of that Mest Jet whatever thing?
Multiverse Mentor, which will have noticeably more bass actually. Cool. You can try this one next.
Sure.
They're all different too. The shells, like you see that blue color, right? That's pretty unique because everyone will actually have a different shell. They're all custom made.
Right. Yeah. Let me try these ear tips. What if I use those black ones? The black foams on the Nobles, if I can bring up the bass a bit.
Yeah, it would actually be a good thing, I think, because I think it needs a little bit more bass.
Yeah, it was actually just perfect with my ear tips. Okay. Yeah, because there was actually noticeably more bass, I think. So that's why I'm going to try it again with my ear tips again.
The Multiverse Mentors will have noticeably more bass. The mid bass is definitely a little bit elevated on those. Still tasteful, but it's elevated, so yeah.
The mids have a lot of attack on the Nobles. Like it's very prominent and it's very like forward. And I think in a good way.
I think it's more that it's not as recessed as other IEMs, because the thing is people like tend to recess the mids quite often, and if it's just not as recessed, then it might seem more forward.
Yeah, it's the Nobles actually have a good balance between the mids and the treble. Yeah, quite a bit of bass in these. Yep. But the bass isn't actually very well defined. It's just like all over the place, like a bit everywhere. Yeah, so it's not like well defined bass. They're good headphones. But I think in terms of just the sound signature and the balance, I think I like the Nobles more than this a bit. This one has a bit more bass, but it's bleeding everywhere a little bit, and then it drowned out some of the treble a little bit. So when I hear the drums, sometimes the drums are certain parts of the drums, especially when it's clanging on metal, I don't hear it that clearly. Yeah, because it's a bit drowned out. Yeah.
You don't think these ones have more detail?
It's really forward, but I don't necessarily think it's more detailed though. It's really forward.
I actually think they have a little bit more detail than like Kublai's.
Could be. I don't know. I'll see. I'm gonna switch to my own ear tips again for the Kublai's.
Soundstage could be close, but I think details. I think that's a bit higher. Definitely has more bass for sure. Yeah, I didn't think the bass bled into the mids that much for me. I actually thought they was pretty well controlled.
If anything, I felt it kind of I felt the treble was a bit drowned out by a little bit.
I think it's just not as treble forward. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Kublai's are definitely more treble forward. I just think this one's not as treble forward.
I think the fact that it's not treble forward, but then there's more bass, kind of just makes it more sounds a little bit like less prominent.
Yeah, it does. But I think that's just it's just a different tuning.
Oh yeah, it's different tuning for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bass is stronger,
Yeah.
and then the treble is not as forward. Mixed together, I found
Yeah.
the treble became a little bit weak.
Okay.
Yeah, as a result.
I think you just prefer treble forward a bit more, right?
I just want everything, like when I hear the band, I want to be able to hear everything equally, and I find that here that when I hear like the drums, it's a little bit drowned out.
So the bass is a little more than treble.
Bass and the mids actually both. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, because it's but the mids is actually not all. It's more of the mid to lower mids
Okay.
are a bit more forward.
Okay.
This one along with the bass.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I find like these ones are more prominent in the bass and the lower mids.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are quite forward,
Yeah.
and then because of that, the treble's a little bit drowned out by a touch. Yeah, that's really about it. The nobles have a bit more attack in the mids to the upper mids, and it's that mid to upper mid attack has a bit of good balance with the treble,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just depending on the ear tip, then the bass can sound kind of lean depending on which ear tip we use.
Right.
That's the thing with the nobles.
Right. So you can try the foam ones then.
Which one?
Try the foam.
Yeah, I'm gonna try mine again.
Let me know when you want to try the satins after.
Ooh, the satins, right?
Yeah.
Which ones are those?
These are actually one of my favorites. Yeah, you should try these ones.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
try these next. Yeah, I think if the nobles had maybe like just a few more percent more bass,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be perfect. It has so much attack in
Yeah.
the treble and the mids. The mids and trebles are just right in a lot of the attack. But but the
I think you
bass-
might like this then. This essentially is that with more bass.
Okay, cool.
So,
And how much is that one?
3,300 US.
Just a bit more than this.
Yeah. But I think this one probably has a balance we're looking for.
Yeah, nobles with a few more percentage points in bass
Mm-hmm.
might be the best. Now I'm trying to foam tips.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a little bit more bass again
Mm-hmm.
with these, but then you lose the touch of that treble.
Yeah, well, it's always a balance, right?
and
It's
then
like,
you
yeah.
lose a bit of that vertical sound stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sound stage vertically is a little bit less once you use this. Yeah, once you use the foams, but you get a bit more bass back. So trade off.
So try these ones. I think these ones have that mid attack, and it'll also have the treble is not quite as forward, but it'll be more forward than on the multiverse. And this one will also have bass too, although it's more in the sub bass. That one's more in the mid bass. So
Let me put these back.
you might find that this one will not bleed into the mids as much because it's actually more focused on sub bass rather than mid bass.
Thank you.
So
Let's try
yeah.
that.
and also this will be the tips for that one. So check to see if that one.
Cool.
has anything.
Let me put these back because these are what you use for the nobles. Yeah, in terms of if I can use like the regular ear tips with this,
Mm-hmm.
and then you give me just a few more percent bass with this, that'd be perfect.
Hmm.
Just a few more percent bass than what this is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but with that
Yeah,
usual regular ear tip type of sound. Just right here.
Yeah.
And then right there.
See that one because I think that might be just what that one is. So. And that one is kind of a special IEM because it's from a company called Quill,
Mhm.
and they did a collaboration with Music Tech. You know Music Tech?
Nope.
They're the retailer of all these IEMs that I buy from.
Okay.
So they did a special collaboration for that. So that's like almost like that's almost like a collaboration product that they made,
Mm.
and they don't really have many products. It's just That's like a special collab they did. So, and you can see that the design of that shell is pretty unique too. It stands out.
And how much did you get these for?
It was like 2,000.
US.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, because that one's really pretty new. Like Kublai Khan's came out like three years ago, but that one just came out this year. So.
Man, it's so hard to put on these gear tips.
Yeah, that one, the nozzle is pretty big. You gotta roll it. You roll it around the nozzle.
I wonder what the flagship Noble sound like.
Oh, I told you. It's basically Viking Ragnar is basically the Kublai Khan's. It's pretty similar tuning, with the forward treble and everything, the lean bass, just with more detail and wider soundstage.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about bass level?
Bass level is about the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just you get more detail and more soundstage. But the tuning's roughly the same as Kublai.
Okay. And you listened to them before?
Yep, I did, because that Brian guy brought him.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep. So it's if you like the tuning of the Kublai, you'll like it on the flagship.
Which Brian? Which Brian has it?
You're talking about the Nobles?
Right.
Yeah. So it's called the Ragnar.
Yeah, who has it?
Oh, the Brian guy.
Yeah, which Brian? The one who sold you the DAT?
No, it was another Brian from the group, the Discord. It's good.
Of course, like I'm not certain whether the tip size, if I'm getting the right seal.
Okay.
But it sounds a little bit different from the Nobles and everything else. This one doesn't have the nice treble and the mid attack of the Nobles. The Nobles have more mid and treble attack.
Okay.
The treble sounds very realistic on the Nobles.
Okay.
Yeah, the treble on the Nobles sounds like some of the most realistic treble I've ever heard.
They use a different driver. It's a piezoelectric driver on the Nobles, and
see.
they're one of the only ones that use that. Most of these IEMs use electrostatic, but the Nobles use piezoelectric, so it's actually a different driver type.
I see. Yeah, the Noble treble is some of the most realistic I've heard. It's so realistic, the drums. And the mids have so much attack, while still having pretty good sound stage. There's just the bass is just a few percent shy, like a little bit light, just by a few percent. I really don't need that much more bass, just 3-4% extra. That's all I need, like 3% maybe, and it would have been a perfect IEM for me. This one, this one sounds a little bit like my IEM, but with less treble and less treble detail. And also this one has a touch more bass.
Yep, the sub bass especially.
Yeah, this one has a touch more bass than mine, but less detail in the treble. And also mine has a bit more upper mid forward than this one. Yeah, if I had to choose between these two, I would actually take the FLC8S actually. Okay. Yeah, whereas that is kind of like my FLC8S, only it's got a bit more. This one actually has a bit more treble emphasis than that, but then that treble sometimes just sounds very realistic once in a while. Although they're really close, they're very close. But this one, everything sounds just a touch fuller. The mids are a bit more fuller. Mine's more upper mid focused. Okay. They're both very detailed. Actually, the bass is pretty close between these two too. Like mine and this one, mine and the Noble. Okay. Mine and Noble. Yeah. But yeah, of course mine I can still tune, because mine can tune to different stuff. So if I want more bass on mine, I can just change one of the nozzles and that's it. Yeah, which I could if I want more sub bass on it. But yeah, this one I think not totally for me. It's a good sound. Overall, still pretty balanced. Yep. But I would say the treble is just a bit subdued compared to everything else, and that's a bit of an issue I find. Not enough balance with the treble on here. Okay,
so that's also like the multiverse as well. You think both of these are kind of lacking treble?
Yeah, I think the multiverse is a better headphone in my opinion. Okay. Yeah, I think the multiverse.
Better than that one?
Yeah. Okay. I think the multiverse I hear a bit more detail.
Okay.
Yeah, compared to this one. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So and then the multiverse has a bit more bass I think than this one.
Yeah, it's a bit different. That one is more sub bass. This one's more mid bass. Okay. So it's but the mid bass is more like noticeable. So that's why it seems like it has more quantity.
And everything's a bit more forward in this one. And then yeah. Okay. But I think this I hear a little bit more detail.
And I think soundstage is a bit more in the multiverse too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Out of all of these, I think this one probably had the best soundstage. And not this one. I mean the Nobles. The Nobles had the best soundstage.
Kublai's,
Yeah,
okay.
and the Nobles had more vertical soundstage.
Okay.
More vertical soundstage. Yeah, actually the Nobles and mine are actually quite similar. Yeah, but like I said, just mine leans a bit more to the treble than the Nobles. Nobles are a touch more fuller. In more fuller, but mine's more treble emphasized. Otherwise, they're quite similar. Even the bass, they're actually not that far apart, actually.
Okay. Do you want to try my test racks, or are you good on those? Those are test racks.
Oh, these did I try them before?
You did. I don't remember you liking them that much, but
Okay.
you can try them again if you want.
Or I'll switch to these ones. Okay, and which cable should I use?
Might as well. You guys, like, I think you have actually. This cable is actually labeled, so it might be a bit easier. It's actually labeled left to right, so.
So I just plug it in, right?
Yeah, it's a 2-pin connection. That's the standard now. It's 2 pins, so. So that's a good thing about the modern IEMs now, like compared to yours. It's like everything's standardized now with the cable connection.
I wish I can get better, easier cable swaps for mine.
Yeah, because now it's like standardized. You can just it's all 2-pin now, so you can just swap them around.
Maybe my Evo C8S with a nice cable swap might sound perfect.
Yeah, because like basically that's what a cable does. It's if you think it has like too much bass or too little bass or something, it can just kind of fine tune that a bit. Yeah, it doesn't change anything like drastically, but it can kind of fine tune those things.
Yeah.
Like a copper cable, it just makes things a little bit more warmer. That will add like slightly more bass presence, like soften up the treble a bit. Or if you want to have a bit brighter, you could just use a silver cable.
Yep.
Yeah. Or if you want to have neutral, you can use a gold-plated copper, gold-plated silver. So it's like, it's kind of just fine-tuning your IEM.
I think with these, after we found these ear tips, when you search your PAL, don't lose these ear tips. These are pretty good because these kind of fit my ear. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, not too bad. So we can actually use these for everything from now on.
Okay. So
where's your big bag of all those ear tips? You can put these back in there. Or is it gonna be really hard to find when we put them in there?
No, just we'll just leave them. Yeah, if we put them, just leave them somewhere here.
But are you gonna lose them if I just leave them out here?
No. I'll remember them. Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't need any other one, right?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll just get this bound back.
Yeah. Maybe those ones might be okay too. Which ones? Can I see? I think there's 2 here that might be okay actually. What are these? So these 2 are this.
Yep. Those like flatter ones.
Okay, these are kind of small, so we don't need that.
What else?
I think maybe just keep these 2 pairs.
Okay.
Just in case. Yeah. Set them aside.
Okay.
These are after using these ear tips to fit better.
Yep.
You know what? These are fun. They kind of sound like those These kind of sound like campfires actually. Yeah, they sound like the way Campfire normally likes to tune their stuff. It's like a cross between Campfire and what is that? Fogos.
Okay.
It's a cross between Campfire and Fogos. Literally no soundstage.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't see any soundstage on that one?
There's some soundstage, but they're pretty clumped together. Compared to all the other ones, these ones have the least amount of soundstage.
I found the opposite. Those ones I found out have the most soundstage out of all of them.
No, man. Like when I was listening to it, the guitars and the drums and the bass sounds like they're all almost together. It sounds like they're just 1 foot apart from each other.
That's so weird.
Like they're right beside each other.
Because when I listen to vocals, it literally pans all around my head when I hear that one.
I'm not sure about the vocals, but then when I hear where the instruments are on the stage, they sound like they're all like right here.
That's really weird.
Like
Okay.
right in between.
I seriously think those have the best soundstage out of all of them, though.
Okay. Well, these ones, they're almost the closest out of all those ones that I heard anyways. Like, for example, when I used the Nobos, the guitars were up here.
Yeah.
The drums were over here. The voice was right here.
Okay.
And the bass was down here. This one is like the drums are here. And then the voice is right here. And then the guitar is like just right here. And the bass is just right here. Like, yeah, so kind of close. Like they're right beside each other. This one also, the upper treble is a little bit tame. So yeah, so it's got a little bit of a recessed upper treble for this one. Lower treble is okay. Lower treble is pretty prominent. The upper treble, I think I would like it to have a little bit more upper treble. This one, the mid level and the bass level is pretty good. I find the bass is pretty good for this one. It's not overdone, but it's just about right.
Yep.
The mids are also almost just about right.
Yep.
Right now, what this is missing, in my opinion, was the soundstage and also the upper treble. So it's missing some upper treble. You should listen to this again. I think the soundstage is pretty small for this one.
No, I actually think these are really good for soundstage.
I don't know. You can try again sometime and see.
That's interesting. Okay, no, I tried all these like.
Yeah.
I keep this one almost purely because of soundstage actually.
That's really strange.
This
is the ear tips you use on it.
Yeah, because like when I hear like, especially the vocals, I hear the vocals like pan around me. It's very holographic sounding with these.
Okay.
So it's interesting that you think it's the opposite.
Yeah, but then it's gotta be like relative with how relative with like the other instruments. How's their spacing between each other?
Mm-hmm.
That's really the thing for soundstage, right? So.
Yeah, it's also track dependent because like different tracks can be mixed differently as well.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like I keep these almost solely because of soundstage, dude. Like
well,
yeah.
But did you actually compare where the instruments are though? Like when you're actually listening, because.
It's less about the instrument, but whether or not I hear a separation, like a stereo separation.
Okay.
And I hear the stereo separation is wider on this one, so it just feels wider in my head.
Okay. Well,
so yeah.
Okay. Well, when I listen to the instruments, they sound a lot closer to each other.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah, they're almost like focal level soundstage.
Oh no, I don't. I have a different experience there. Like vocals, I don't have any soundstage, but the tuning for this one, you said it's just the treble that was is a bit tame, right?
We're just missing a bit of the upper treble sparkle. Everything else is pretty good.
Yeah. So you still like the Kublai Khan's the best out of these?
Yeah, it was not perfect either. I find the bass is lacking just a touch.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a few percent. Yeah, everything else is actually really good. Yeah, I like the treble. I like the mids. Yeah, I just need a touch more bass. And then once I switch to the foams, then I lose a little bit of that treble sparkle and a little bit of the mid attack by a touch. And then you lose a little bit of the soundstage, especially the vertical soundstage.
Another thing you might want to try is use these copper cables with them. It might bring up the bass a little bit. I know it'll actually make a similar thing to the foam tips actually, because these will bring up the bass a bit and tame down the treble a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a similar effect to your foams actually.
Yeah, copper does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should invest in like a new cable for these headphones.
We'll just get a modern IEM, dude. They all have the standard connection now.
Yeah, modern IEMs are so much more expensive for anything that even sounds remotely close to this. So.
I don't know actually. Like there's so many IEMs, right? It's hard to try to test them all, but.
Because honestly, these are hanging roughly like when you listen to all these headphones, right? Do you volume match as well?
Yeah, actually with the quills, you notice with this one, you have to. It's not sensitive, so you got to push up the volume a lot in these ones.
This one you have to.
Yeah, these ones have planars. That's why.
Yep.
So they have planars. You need to drive them a bit harder.
Yep, all of them. I actually have to adjust the volume to match it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, but this one especially, you have to push up the volume more because they use planars. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all these I had to adjust a bit, and then after adjusting, honestly, like this one hangs pretty close, like to them, like. So that's what I mean, like, unless there's something else that's good bang for the buck, I've never listened to anything that's good bang for the buck.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, like, so if I buy like a modern IEM, anything that hangs with this is like the $1,000 ones.
Well, at least, yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense for me to buy a modern IEM just for the fact that I can actually change the cables, right? I might as well get a custom made cable for this. Yeah, custom made cable is gonna cost me like $100-something if I'm not too picky.
Yeah.
And then that's still way cheaper than switching IEMs. Unless there's an IEM that's clearly better. Like some of these, they might be better in certain parts, but not everything. You know, like the Nobles, I would say, well, this one is just more leaner, more brighter, more treble focused, and more upper mid. And Nobles are a little bit more fuller. A little bit fuller. Bass level is about the same between the two of them. I'm not even sure which has more bass. I gotta do more testing to see. But they seem kind of similar in the bass. I'm actually not too sure which one has more bass. Of course, this one I can still tune myself. I can tune to any profile I want. So I could add more bass if I want. It's just gonna bring down the other stuff. But I actually prefer this one over those ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, it's just hard to say. They're all a little bit different.
Yep.
Yep.
That's why people keep multiple headphones and multiple IEMs. I find like it also depends on the genre and everything. So it's
Yeah.
like certain IEMs will sound better with certain genres,
Oh,
right? So
definitely, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because like you said, they're all a little bit like tuned a little bit differently, or the soundstage might be a little bit different. You know,
Yep.
sometimes you might actually want more intimate as well. So yeah.
Yeah. It also depends. Like for me, it depends on like if I can find like something that's, good value for what you get for the sound too. Like that's another thing. Because to upgrade for mine, I'm gonna have to see is it better and how much more better, and then what
Hmm.
price am I paying for that little upgrade.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be diminishing returns for sure. So but yeah, I'll see. For me, it's pretty close. I like the multiverse, Saturn, and Tesseract all have their own
Mm-hmm.
kind of strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I'm just seeing which one like I can sell, and then I'll just keep whatever doesn't sell. So
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
because like I can't even like pick one out of these.
Which which headphones are these?
Oh, okay, yeah.